All right, ladies and gentlemen, Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria went face-to-face on ESPN MMA in a interesting and quite memorable, and maybe for all the wrong reasons, face-to-face.
Bro, what the fuck is this?
And I have a friend of the program here, and the one and only Jose Youngs joining me to react to some of the highlights from this thing.
Blah, 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 blah.
Before we get into it, man, you mentioned you watched it a couple of times. I got some highlights here that stood out to me. But what was your first reaction before we even get into it when you were watching this thing for the first time?
It was very strange. We haven't really seen the UFC do something like this in a long time. It used to be pretty norms, especially like obviously the famous one with DC and John, the famous ones with Connor and Nate, but we haven't really seen this in a bit, especially with a fighter like Ilia, whose English is not his first language. He knows, I think, 3 or 4 languages, and English is not his best, but he's very eloquent when he talks. He's a very confident young man, and we definitely don't see Max on the other side of trash talk. We've seen some banter. We've seen some confidence, especially between him and Volkanovski or him and Calvin Kattar, but we haven't really seen someone talk all this trash directly to Max. So it was cool to see the face-to-face. I wish they did it in person like boxing does. I know BT or TNT, whatever, did one with Darren Till and Jorge Masvidal. I thought that was really cool. And they tried to do one with Dominic Cruz and Cheeto in San Diego. That one was okay. So I wish it was in person, but it was cool to see. But it was real interesting seeing Max Holloway in a situation like this, because I don't think dealing with someone as brash as Ilia is his specialty. He's obviously one of the greatest fighters that has ever lived. He's not this bravado character like a Connor or an Ilia or any of these guys. Unbelievable fighter and has a lot of great one-liners and fans love him, but this isn't his element, I would say.
Yeah, and shout out to Brendan Fitzgerald, who, we all love and got put in a difficult position here. And, we both love Max Holloway, and Ilia Topuria is obviously a great champion. So what we say here, they don't need to take too personally, but let's get into it, because I want to start off with, for me, where this whole thing kind of all began getting a little bit interesting. All right, so over here, we kick it off, and Max, just to set the scene here for people watching at home, basically, Max says that Ilia is a fan, and we got Ilia Topuria. We know he's going to come in hard here. So here he is. He's responding to Max Holloway, basically saying he's
great
a fan.
fighter. Of course, yes.
Yep,
I'm not going to say the
rivals, I guess. I was in his position against Jose Aldo. Now we here.
October 26th. After the October 26th, maybe you will become my fan. Maybe you will start learning from me.
Okay. Okay, at this point, I think Max realizes maybe I shouldn't have agreed.
Yeah, and it's similar to what we see with Max a lot. Like, you've done media days, you've watched press conferences with Max. He finds 1 or 2 things, and he says them in every single interview, like for the entire fight week. Like, I can't remember what it was like. When he fought Volkanovski the 3rd time, for whatever reason, he got real aggro, and he kept yelling, "I am the fire," or something like that, because he was talking about like volcanoes erupting. And he said that at like media day, he said at the press conference, he said it to Volkanovski, and he just says the same thing over and over and over. And it's a great line. Like, they're always great lines. Like, yeah, you are a fan of me. I don't think he was fully prepared for Ilia to be like, yeah, I am. Like, it's just when you come with this energy and the person doesn't match what you thought they were going to be, it throws everything out the window.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right, so over here, Brendan's like, look, Max, I feel bad for you. Can I set you up a little bit so we can see what's going on? Giving him one of these.
Express come October 26th, and we're about to see what happens.
Blast Express, it's over, my friend. The Blacks is blessed. Over.
Blast Express, brother. Blast Express.
Blast Express. I'm sorry. Blast Express.
Poor Max is in trouble here, and Ilia doesn't look like he really wants to get him off the hook. Let's have a look.
And no one's gonna save you once that case gonna be closed, my friend.
So all right, so Ilia's destroying Max here. We can see Max is looking to the left, looking to the right. Brendan doesn't want to look anywhere here. Brendan's like, let's just get through this. We've all been in the part of these interviews before, by the way. We know how they feel.
Sure.
Max has to respond.
I took a lot of people's donuts, bro. I hope you like churros. Because you're about to get one come October 26th, buddy.
October 26th, the only thing I'm gonna do is to take you lights out and then party with all my people, with all my team. That's what I'm gonna do. And still.
Churro. Get it, everyone? A churro. A loss. What do you think of this, Jose? Is Max coming?
Regardless of whether it was workshopped or off the dome, it was a great line. Obviously, because churros has like a Hispanic connotation because it's like a very Mexican, Spanish-based dessert. And then you got Ilia, who's obviously representing Spain, or part Spain, part Georgian. I thought this was obviously Max's best line. The Blessed Express thing, back and forth, kind of fell flat. This was Max's best line. I don't care if it was workshopped. He came out, but again, I think he peaked early because I think of the two in the first half, this was the best line. But then Ilia just kind of took over.
The only thing I'm gonna do is to take you lights out and then party with all my people, with all my team. That's what I'm gonna do. And still, this is what's gonna happen. I don't need to believe. I first of all believe and then I see. So I don't have any doubts that I will be the first one to knock you out. And I don't even want you to trust in that, because if you're starting to trust in what I'm saying, you're not gonna show up, and I need you to show up in the fight.
How good is Ilia Topuria here, man? He's like, so is he cutting a WrestleMania 17 promo right there on Max? I want the best Max. I want the best Max to show up at UFC 30. Like, this guy's just coming at you.
Again, I'm never a big trash talk guy. Like, it doesn't really do it for me, especially in MMA, because you're gonna get in a fist fight anyway. I liked seeing Max in this environment where, like you said, Ilia's cutting this promo. Like, I think with Ilia, we can all tell it's off the dome. Like, he's coming in hot. Like, he probably had a few notes in his head, but it was like a synopsis. He's not reading a script. He probably was like, I should bring up ABC, and he does in his own way. And we've obviously Volk and him had their back and forth, but Dustin and Max was very cordial. Him and Zombie was very cordial. Him and Cater, like I said, the whole best boxer thing was kind of a narrative that played out in the octagon. But we've never had someone, I mean, Justin Gaethje and Max, they basically hugged it out at the stare down.
Yeah.
We've never seen someone look in Max Holloway's eyes and be like, I'm gonna kill you, like I'm gonna knock you out. I hope you come good, and I'm still gonna knock you out. Like, so it is refreshing to see Max in this environment.
All right, I think this is the point where Ilia makes a little bit of a mistake. For some reason, he decides to buy a BMF title belt off eBay, and this is what happened.
Yeah, this is weird.
It's a BMF belt.
Because I want it.
Because I want it. It's such a silly
thing. Like a spoiled child.
I know. It's like, dude, okay, you're going to have the belt here. You're going to look like a front row fan at a WWE event. You better have a good reason for doing this.
It's a BMF belt. It's a BMF belt.
Because I want it.
Max is like a spoiled child. Dude, what is going on? So it's like, all right, so this man right here decides to bring out this BMF belt. And I get it. He wants to win the belt, right? And this is what we get?
It's a BMF belt.
Because I want it.
Sound like a spoiled child.
Jesus.
Oh boy. Okay, look at Brendan's face here. This is even thinking about, I could have been a marine biologist. How did I end up? How did I end up here? Jesus. What is happening?
I didn't like this. I thought this was very silly. Ilia Topuria is the, not for nothing, the undisputed featherweight champion of the world. Carry that belt. Like, bring that belt and be like, Max, remember this? I know he says it later on, but if he was like, the guy that beat you 3 times had this, and I just killed him. This was silly. This was a complete miss.
You know what you do? You get that BMF belt, you get the trash can out, you do the WC, you drop it in the trash.
Who was it that did that?
That
Alundra Blaze, did she do that?
That's right, on TV. Wow. Boom, drop that. Hey, your BMF title ain't shit. I'm the champ. This is the real belt. I don't want that trash. You know what I mean? Do something like that.
You don't want to upstage the UFC title with the BMF title. And the BMF, I know a lot of people hate the BMF. I personally think it's fine. Like, it's another belt, it's another reason to headline a pay-per-view. And like, not for nothing, the fights that it's led to have been awesome.
Yeah.
Have been awesome fights. So I'm all for it. I don't really care. But yeah, I still think it shouldn't upstage the actual undisputed title. And I felt like that's with what Ilia's, especially because he bought it. Like, that's so lame. It's
Dude,
so
don't
lame.
say that you bought it.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't say that you bought it. Be like, I got it. This is Max's belt. Where's his belt? I got it here. Anyway, now we're going to talk a little bit about the boxing. We're going to get a little bit more technical here.
Yeah.
Ilia, Max has said he's the best boxer in the UFC. What do you think of that?
And I saw him working with the backs. Bro, what the f is this? Don't do that.
For one bag. What are you talking about? Same exact Joe.
Joe.
What is happening here?
Joe.
Come on.
Who's Joe?
Oh my God.
Here, Max is like, so Brendan's again, he's like, my family I could have been the mayor of Cincinnati. How did I end up here? And Max is like, I'm going to make fun of this guy's thing. So.
Say.
And he says same exact drill. This guy thinks he says Joe.
Same exact Joe.
This guy's like,
on
an island somewhere away from this.
They should have edited this. I appreciate how people when they do raw shots, but I
think at this point Max is like, I'm going to speak to my manager about never doing anything like this again. But this is his response.
What?
Here's Brendan's face. I could have been a firefighter. I could have been a doctor. I could have been anything but here. I mean, you got like, how are they not editing this stuff out, man?
They should have.
How are they keeping that in?
A lot of people on the internet when he's like, "Who's Joe?" Everyone was very annoyed that Max didn't just say Joe Mama and just shut the whole interview down right there.
Just walk off, brother.
That would have surpassed his Gaethje knockout right there. God. Just walk off KO. But not the best. I actually did like the back and forth with the boxing thing. I thought that was the best showing from when both were involved, because the churro thing was a good line. You've had 7 losses, a good line. Max saying, kind of getting repetitive, and Ilia kind of like badgering him. The BMF thing wasn't great, but I actually liked the back and forth of the boxing thing from both men, because I think Max, if you watch footage of Max's open workouts, he doesn't put on a great open workout. Not because he doesn't have to. He doesn't like to like even in the embeddeds, he usually makes the cameraman go away when he actually does hard sparring or hard drilling. It is always the same combination. It's not like Robert Whittaker where he goes and puts on an entire workout for the fans. Max will do like 5-7 minutes of pad work and then call it a day. Doesn't have to do a whole thing. So maybe that's what Ilia is looking at, just his open workouts. But and then Max responding with that thing was very funny to me. I thought that was very, very funny, because that's Max can talk trash about boxing. I thought that was very funny.
So those are basically the things that stood out. But we agree that Ilia won this one, right?
I agree.
This is a win for Ilia. This is going to come through into the media week, and we're going to see some more awkward moments. But as we wrap this up, Jose, I've got to ask you, I don't think this really would have changed your mind on how this fight is going to go.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
But how do you think it's going to go? What is your early prediction here?
I picked Volk to beat Ilia, and my reasoning was Ilia might be the best featherweight in the world. He just hasn't beaten someone at that elite level yet. Like beating Josh Emmett like he did was unbelievable, but it was a 5-round, hard fight. If he had gone out there and decapitated Emmett, I probably would have picked Ilia. But I'm like, we have so much tape on Volk. He's beaten the best featherweights in the world. He's beaten Aldo. He's beaten Holloway. He's beaten Ortega. And I picked Volk based on like just the amount of tape and what we've witnessed. It's hard to pick someone that we haven't seen a whole lot of against the elite of the elite. Him knocking out Volk was so impressive. I am curious if Volk had, fully recovered from getting knocked out by Islam, taking that fight on short notice, getting a quick turnaround from October to February. I didn't like that. Max knocking out Gaethje certainly made this interesting because I picked Justin Gaethje to beat Max again solely based off what we had seen Max do at lightweight against Dustin. It just looked like he was the featherweight fighting the bigger guy, and Max said he put on weight the right way this time. I'm curious how it will look when Max comes back to featherweight because he bulked up and now he's cutting again.
Yeah.
It's just so
where
hard.
are you sitting, brother? Where are you sitting? Come on, give me the official.
I'm gonna pick Max. I am. And I was pretty confident with my pick with Merab. I was pretty confident with my pick with Alex Pereira. I picked Israel. I thought that was very close too. This is the least confident I am, though. I think this is the best featherweight. Like, featherweight is such a good fight. This is the least confident I've been in a featherweight title fight since I picked Volk to beat Brian Ortega. I thought he would beat him pretty handily, and then after that, I thought it was going to be Yair. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was. I thought the Ilia fight was going to be a lot closer than it was. I'm not confident at all in this fight. I feel like I'm going to change my mind a few times.
I think it's going to really depend as well on how Max responds to Ilia's power early in the fight.
Yeah,
and then Ilia, maybe the mental stuff of like, all right, now I'm in here with Max Holloway. I've just hit him with my good shots. He's still coming here. He's still going forward, and I'm in here for 5 rounds because this is the thing. Max drowns people. You know, he's able to go. So if he hits Max early, Max, he could see, all right, a few more shots like this, he's done. I think he uses that momentum and potentially wins this. But if he does have trouble landing those shots, getting close to Max because of the Max distances and footwork, or the fact that, all right, Max is actually not that bothered by this stuff, it's going to be a mental game that Ilia is going to have to figure out, especially when you're knocking guys out left and right in the gym, right? It's going to be fascinating. Let's keep an eye on this as we can move forward. And the best way to keep an eye on it is following Jose Youngs on social media at Jose Youngs, of course, MMA Fighting, one of the best websites in the game. What's coming up, Jose? What do people need to look out for, brother?
I think I don't know if we're going to have a timeline on this fight, but I believe Casey's working on a timeline for John and Stipe. That's in November. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm actually heading out to Saudi Arabia for PFL 2 the week before the UFC 308. Perfect. So you're going to get a bunch of content from Francis and Henan Ferreira, and obviously Cyborg Pacheco, AJ McKee, Phil Hughes, and all those people, and then right into 308. So you basically get 14 days of content of MMA content coming your way.
All right. Well, can't wait to watch that. And also for those watching, don't forget our mate Oscar Willis. He does fight Ben Davis this weekend.
That's right.
Another great appearance at the press conference. Support our boy. Check out the fight. Jose Youngs, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for joining me.
Love you, man.